What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Zulo back again. This time I'm doing a 1-month progression of what it's like to go from a controller-using peasant from console to an FPS overlord on Valorant. As you may know, I do play a few games on PC, mainly Rocket League, which I use a controller on. Now that Valorant is out and I have friends who are masters at clicking heads in game,
30. No charges left. One enemy remaining.
oh my god.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Oh my god. I feel like it is finally time for me to get good and start using keyboard and mouse so I can somewhat keep up. Currently, I wouldn't say I'm terrible at FPSs on PC. But I could probably get better. So, to start things off, let's just flash what my settings are, and then we're going to do 10 rounds of hard difficulty practice in Valorant, just to get a starting point. The clip playing is my highest round, which is 4, which is a pretty big field pad, so hopefully that can be improved in the coming month. And today is April 26th, so let's see how far we can get by May 26th. Let's do this! It is now April 27th and I've done about 3 hours total of practice training as of today. I also did increase my sensitivity down to 0.7 with 800 DPI after being told by my friend that my sense was way too high and that I should drop it down a notch. And I feel like this did actually help out a ton. I think the first goal that I want to set myself is to try and get at least a score of 15 in hard by the end of the month, but we'll see how hard that is to actually achieve. Today I beat my old score of 4 and got a whopping 7, so woohoo! Let's keep it going. It is now April 28th. Today I actually ended up watching a bunch of different videos regarding how to properly play CSGO, since I don't really have a background in that game and it's comparable to Valorant. So much so that there's already a ton of info on properly playing different situations, whether that's how to properly peek corners or knowing when not to. I feel like learning all this info now and creating good habits early will help me out a lot in the long run. And of course I wanted to get in at least 30 minutes of practice every day, so I hopped in the shooting range for a few rounds and I was actually able to beat my previous score of 7. And I actually feel like my aim is getting better. Slowly but surely I'm feeling more confident with flicking left and right, even though sometimes I'll overshoot or undershoot. Of course it's still early in the month with plenty of time to fully iron out my mouse control. I also mainly enjoy using pistols or the Ghost just because it teaches me to use pistol rounds better for in-game, so yeah. Today I've actually been feeling a lot more confident with peeking and being able to convert kills in game, and I don't feel like I'm being excessively outplayed in every situation I'm in. I even had a few moments where I actually outplayed my opponent to some degree, and yes, it might be petty and even a little bit pathetic to some people, but for me this is a fair amount of improvement from just a couple days ago. I'm also not super worried about getting wrecked as soon as I peek a corner, and my aim isn't the absolute worst. But there's still a lot of room for improvement, so I'm excited to see what I can pull off later in the month. Welcome back. It is now day number 3, aka April 29th. I've beaten my high score in the hard mode practice yet again, and I'm feeling a bit more comfortable. But there is most certainly more obvious room for improvement, as my sights are still a little shaky. But between putting in the practice for a minimum of 30 minutes a day, I feel like I'm starting to get a way bigger handle on the game, and my decision making has definitely improved in game as well, and was actually able to do pretty good today. And as I've stated before, there's plenty of time left in the month to become better, and supposedly there will be a ranked mode being released soon, so that should keep things a bit more interesting. What's up everyone, it's now April 30th, and today I spent a few hours watching some professional CSGO games, mainly so I can get a glimpse of professional players' decision making, as Valorant still has yet to develop a pro scene since we're still in beta. So I figured I'd catch up on some knowledge, and see how they peek corners, when they push fights, are they always behind cover. Just taking notes on what to do and why they do it is actually quite informative, and can help me improve my decision making in certain situations as well. And I honestly have to admit that every time I hop on Valorant, I never really want to play the shooting range for 30 minutes, as I would way rather just hop in a game and have fun. But I know for a fact that it'd be better to warm up in the shooting range first, and after a round or two, I end up getting lost in trying to beat my high score, as I just endlessly try again and again and will end up just being one headshot off, so I do it again. And this process usually repeats itself until I beat it, or it has been 30 minutes. And if it isn't, I make sure I get those 30 minutes in each day, as it's not a huge time commitment. And yes, I did just beat my high score and broke into double digits on hard training, and I'm stoked about that.
So stoked. Like, I don't even, like...
Howdy doody, it is now May 1st, so happy May I guess. Also, I just finished my placement matches and got a whopping Iron 2 placement. Woohoo! At least I'm not at the very bottom, as that would be Iron 1. I did get the bottom frag in 3 of my 5 games and only won 4, so it probably makes sense. But it also means it gives me a lot more room to improve, as there are now way more ranks to go through, so that will be nice. What is up everyone, it is now May 8th, I've improved my rank to Bronze 2 and I've started to switch up my training a little bit. Now each time I finish a game, I try to hit a score of at least 10 against bots before I can play another game. I originally started doing this around the 5th of May with getting 7 in the training and slowly worked up to 10 over the past few days. I also started the hard practice for spike defusing, as it will help me with properly checking individual corners and playing smarter in game when it comes to clearing a site. I usually try to win a couple of these before playing a game, and yes, they can be very challenging. Yo, what up? It is now day number 14, I believe, aka May 10th. Today I cracked my old record in the shooting range and have been working on consistency. Now after each game, I try and get a score of at least 10 3 times before I can start another game. I truly believe if I slowly raise the minimum score before starting a game, I can eventually become more comfortable with my flicks. And of course I'm still doing spike defuses, as that really helps with my peeking consistency as well as my jiggle peeking. If you've made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment down below what your favorite way to either warm up or improve consistency is, as I'd honestly be really interested to hear other people's thoughts and ideas on this. Yippee-ki-yay! It's been just over 2 weeks and I already feel like I'm making huge strides towards becoming better at this game. As you can see in this clip right here, in comparison from the one at the start of the video, I was actually able to finish all of them off in one clip of the Spectre, whereas before I couldn't manage to even hit one. And it honestly feels great. I can already see my consistency grow in training, as it's a lot easier for me to hit an average of 8 to 10 bots in hard without even warming up beforehand. And there's still just about 2 weeks left until this is over and we can see how far I've come. To say the least, I'm excited for the results. Welcome back, it is now April 13th, and I honestly feel like my average is around 10 in the hard mode training, as I'm becoming a lot more consistent with aiming for heads, and I can definitely see the difference in my gameplay as well. So the practice really feels like it is helping, that and having a friend that was a CSGO player who is now around the diamond ranks, who I play with when I'm not training. He will call me out anytime I do something stupid, such as peeking an op, or even something simple like looking at the floor as I'm walking around corners. So shout out to my boy Rojas for putting up with my simple mistakes and errors in judgment and teaching me the ropes on how I should go about playing a game such as Valorant. Oh, and did I mention that I just hit my goal of 15 in the hard mode training? Because yes, that did just happen. Woohoo! Congrats to me. I guess the next thing I want to shoot for is a higher rank, even though it's closed beta, as well as improving my average in the hard mode training. It is now May 20th, as you can probably tell. I've made a few changes to my customization in game. I've changed my crosshair for aiming to white instead of green, as when it was green, it would almost completely disappear when I entered a Viper ult, making it more difficult than need be to aim for the head. I also add a little space in the middle to make it so a little head can fit into the center of it so I can visibly see when it's a headshot, as well as changing the outline of enemies from red to purple, as it stands out a lot more than the red did. And it honestly just looks better in my opinion. I am slowly becoming more consistent with getting headshots in training, but still have yet to topple my high score of 15. But I'm sure it'll get better in time. It is now May 26th, and I can definitely see the improvements I've made over the past few weeks, but I also see a lot of improvements that need to be made, mainly crosshair placement and trying to maintain a headshot level at all times. That and positioning, and making sure I'm in a spot where I have advantage at all times and can't get peeked from 8 different angles while trying to peek a corner. But nonetheless, I know I'm improving, and that honestly feels great. Just today, I managed to reach Gold 2, which feels amazing while being so new to keyboard and mouse on an FPS such as this. Hopefully everyone enjoyed watching this progression over the past month, and will consider liking and possibly subscribing to show support. Or maybe even just letting me know what you thought of everything shown in this video, such as what you'd do differently if you were in my position, as I'm always looking for new ways to improve my gameplay in the most efficient way possible. And I hope everyone has enjoyed the closed beta as much as me and is stoked for the full release of the game in June. And as always, take it easy. Peace!